Hello, I'm Della and I love cross stitch. And today I'm going to share with you the magazine New Stitches. It's Mary Hickmott's New Stitches. And this magazine has cross stitch and some other kinds of needlework in it as well. Let's go ahead and look at the cover, the designs on the cover. This is from August 2010. I don't know that they still publish this magazine. It was not always that easy to find, even back when I found it. Um, it cost me $10 in 2010. So this is a magazine from England, and they're just a little bit higher quality, the magazines from England. So they cost more because they are imported, but also, like you have a nice thick cover. It's thicker. There's more in the magazine. The pages, like the size of the magazine is bigger. When they print the charts are nice and big. The pictures are really big. Makes it easy to see what it is you're going to be stitching. Um, and Mary Hickmott has a lot of information that is interesting to read besides the designs. I don't know that she has as many designs, maybe as some of the other magazines, but she does offer you a variety of different kinds of designs or types of needlework. This is an example of something you see a lot in the British magazines, which is an advertisement for something you can go on and do, a retreat, a trip, a place to go with other people interested in needlework. And you learn about needlework, but you're also kind of on a nice vacation, going to Italy, for instance. And so she has a really nice long introduction or editorial on the front. One of the things that I appreciated about it was her explaining how she came up with this design. She explained that she had traveled a lot. I guess if you live in Europe, that might be more likely, and had seen the types of traditional stitching in different countries, like, say, Denmark. They had a lot of maritime themes, and so there are types of boats in their little traditional cross stitch. And so that's where she got the idea for this. She'd collected these different kinds of boats or ships and she put them into a design. So it's a rather large piece that you stitch, but this is cross stitch. Some of the other things on here are not. This is blackwork. Doesn't look black, does it? It's done in gold, probably with metallic threads. You can stitch it in any color you want, on any color fabric. It's traditional to do black work on white fabric with black and gold threads. This is cross stitch, these beautiful little buildings down here. Um, this is Hardanger embroidery. It's a little more complicated. I think this is cross stitch here. This is canvas work, I think. It might be adapted from canvas work and be cross stitch, but I know that they mention that the flosses are a combination of wool and silk. So here is our table of contents. So you see a variety of different projects, and other than the ships, they're actually pretty small. Bookmarks and pin cushions and key rings and small framed pieces. They aren't actually that large. Then she has a lot of different sections or articles to her magazine. For me, I always liked this for learning about things. So this is the Stitcher's Notebook, and in here, there's lots of like websites and places you can contact for these different kits. Like this Niagara Falls over here design is a kit that you can order, or you could. I don't know if it's still available. These are coasters. This is a bookmark, actually. Um, this is needlework. So here, this explains that they use crewel wool to do this design, but it is counted cross stitch. It comes on 10 count canvas. So I'm not sure. You can do cross stitch on canvas. I've never tried it. The things you learn. So it continues on the next page. In an American magazine, this would take up part of a page. It would never be 3 pages long, with kind of long sections on each thing. They include a advertisement for a class on stump work, which is of all the kinds of embroidery, to me it looks like one of the most complicated kinds. I've never tried it, obviously. Here they have a section on giveaways. Again, these are kits that you can earn. So you send your entry, and then they, if you win it, they send it to you. So they weren't all kits. The one at the bottom with the little babushka dolls was to earn tickets to a craft show. Here is our feature design for the magazine, the big one on the cover. The one that is the reason I bought the magazine. This is what I want to stitch the most from here, although I like several of the projects. I love all of the details on this, and so it is kind of, like I said, it's large. She did it on 18 count Ada, or she gives you the finished design size on 18 count, recommending that you buy, or cut it 22 inches by 29 inches to have enough room to finish it off and have a border. It does say work all the cross stitch before you work any of the back stitch. Yeah, obviously. And then they have several pages, 1, 2, 3, 6 pages to show you the design. She has advertising sections in here, which sometimes I show you advertisements to show you the kinds of products there are out there, or that there were, or the places you can get things. The British magazines would give something away when you subscribed. So in this case, something very useful. I would have loved that, getting a nice pair of scissors to use with my projects. So then this is the canvas work project that she has for you. And again, it's using I think it's a Karen collection thread that is variegated floss, but it's, so I guess you could just use DMC. It would have a somewhat different look. It would be a lot thinner than using the wool. But yeah, Karen impressions, wool silk yarn, and Congress cloth, which is a fine 24 count canvas. The impressions shade Prairie Fire is the name of the floss. And then, oh, I like this little stand for your hoop. I've seen stands for your frames, but not as many for your hoops. I want to show you this. I gotta open it without showing you her pattern. So, um, so she gives you a lot of helpful information. It tells you how to go about doing it, which I appreciate. And then on the same page with the patterns, she gives you a stitch design with numbers that tells you how to stitch this is needlepoint, not cross stitch. And they do use cross stitch. Anyhow. So she has a couple pages of it. There are a couple of color variations. So let me see if I can do this. Let me cover up her designs down here on the bottom. Piece of fabric. You can see that in the one, the floss. Sorry, it's hard to do that, but maybe if I hold it down here, you can't see it anyway. So here you have the one floss color with the lighter color is the space in between, and down here it's reversed. So when I say that there are different color options, like they kind of show you how to achieve. I mean, I guess you achieve it by just using a different floss, but in any case. Yeah, they show you a few different ideas on it. I'm not sure if any of the stitching is actually different or if it's all the same. And then, so this is again where they show you different kinds of, it looks like these are readers have written in and shown you some of the things they have stitched. Some really beautiful things that they have managed to do. And you can see that they publish like a nice long letter, a nice long response. I really like that. This is the blackwork. Blackwork is fun to do. You just use one strand of floss when you do blackwork, so it's not something that eats up a lot of floss, and but it has a really neat effect. Um, these are the British scenes. They're just small little designs, but um, I really like them. Sorry, I think I gave you a look at one thing twice. Hard to see from behind the magazine. So the charts for them, I mean, even as a decent sized chart, are still small. It really is not a very big design. And then this is an interesting article they have about a company that's been around for a few hundred years, or at least part of it has, doing embroidery, including embroidery for the royal family. Um, so it's just a bit of history, and it extends for a couple of pages. It's a company called Hand and Lock. And they did give tours, and it says here tours must be booked in advance and cost £13, and the maximum is 10 people. So if you have a small group, that's perfect because they don't really want a large group. And then they have embroidery day classes. This is in 2010. I don't know if this is still true. Um, ran from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and start at £65 plus materials. So they're not cheap classes, but they would be experts in what you would want to learn. It just depends on what you're interested in. They might have types of needlework and adornment that you just aren't going to use or don't want to do. But if you are someone like that's interested in that, especially if you're a sewer and want to add that to like your skill set, then that sounds great. Why not go to England and take an embroidery class at Hand and Lock? Sounds good to me. Um, this is the Hardanger design called Nordic Rainbow. They've used a variegated floss even on the blanket stitch around the edge. That just looks like a placemat or like a doily kind of a thing. Anyway, they have a kit that you could order to just get the materials from some place called Stitch Direct. The bookmarks are really cute and might be a great way to kind of just try out Hardanger for the first time. They are offering them as a way to use up the last of your thread, but it might be a good way to just start. And then they have what I love when they have Hardanger is that they show you how, because maybe they know a lot of us don't know how. And then the design, they don't print, like with cross stitch, you print the whole pattern. But with Hardanger, you print just a portion of the pattern and then you repeat it. Oh no, they printed the whole pattern here. Well, anyway, that's the way it usually gets done, but not here. They could have just printed part of it, since that's what's usually done. This is great. This is an entire article about scissors. Pinking shears is a nice way, and I should just get some. I haven't done this, but I should. You can take pinking shears around the edge of your fabric to keep it from fraying and not have to go through and sew. It might be, I mean, how many years? And I've known that all of these years. Have I gone around finishing my fabric and not just gone and bought pinking shears? But it says here there is nothing worse than having a piece of even weave fabric unravel as you stitch. I know it would be sensible to oversew the edges, but usually I'm too eager to get going, so am I. She probably knows that a lot of us are on the stitching to do that. Pinking the edges can help to reduce the amount of fraying, if not prevent it altogether. Like, I've known that since I was a kid, and my mom taught me how to sew, and she explained that that was one of the beautiful things about pinking shears. And also that they weren't really great for cutting other things, since you don't get a nice straight edge, so don't waste the pinking shears on other things. Oh, but they were such cool scissors, and it was so hard to follow mom's rules. Um, this is beautiful. This is Fiori di Pietra. It says here, um, sorry. These two designs are typical of Pietra Dure, or Peter Dure, from Florence. Fellow travelers, so maybe she does a lot of these tours where you do go on stitching things. Will know that I can and do spend hours in the wonderful museum devoted to this art in Florence. So if you go to Florence, Italy, check this out, I guess. Indeed, I am known to forego the pleasure of fine art in favor of the incredible workmanship and design found in these pieces of inlaid cut stones. I hope you will enjoy them too. Oh, but instead we're going to cross stitch them. Those are really cute. I especially really like the red one. And to get that particular effect, you kind of do need to stitch it on the dark fabric, but it would still be pretty on like a brown. The red one would still be pretty on a cream or a white. The white one, um, yeah, you could stitch them on anything. The dark leaves on the white flower don't show up as well on the black, in my opinion. So the white looks really stunning on black, though. And I guess she liked that they matched. Maybe the stonework is usually done in black. I don't know. But I would stitch that white flower with those green leaves on a different color fabric. A red fabric would be pretty, actually, kind of a deep red color. You'd still get that effect of the white really standing out. But you could still stitch it like on a light colored fabric and it would be pretty. And the leaves would stand out better. So I guess it depends on what you want to like focus on or what you're wanting to have stand out. Next comes some advertisements for various things. Just they have some like fun little things they include in the British magazines. This has a crossword, and I've seen this on here. We'll get you in closer. It's no good without the clues. Um, Salt and pepper, isn't that gray? Six across. No, I don't know what that is. It might be too hard for me to do. But anyhow, then they have another kind of like little challenge over here. Spot the difference between what got stitched and what was supposed to be stitched. I don't know if that was long enough for you to see. And then here they have a thing about right. So anyway, this is just your Coats and Clark embroidery thread. Um, Design search. Tell us which design is in the close-up photograph below. Well, that's not hard. It's the ship design, right? Um, and you win a great selection of quality cards. So yeah, and with the crossword puzzle, you send in your answer, and you win these like kits and different like floss and things like that. So here you wrote the grid reference of the mistake in the toadstool design and sent that in, and you would win the floss that I was showing you. Anyhow, then they have this section over here, how to use new stitches. So how to use the patterns in the magazine for somebody who's never stitched before. And how to cross stitch. They have a section for, that gives new beginners advice. If you open this up. And how to complete projects, which is once you've stitched it, it's how to finish it up. And you might have taken your things to a needlework shop to have them finish it for you, but this shows you how to do it yourself. And I think we're just about done. There aren't any more designs in here at this point. Just this company called Stitch Direct offered all the materials that you needed. I don't know if they're still in business. They probably have a website. Um, if so, they might still be a good place to get fabric, scissors, floss, and other patterns. I don't know that they would have um, any of these patterns. And then something that I always love is when they have a way for you to store their magazine. Here she had both a binder or the little thing you can just stick your magazine in, which I thought was great. And how to order back issues. And then they had something called Cross Stitch Gallery. I'm not so sure that I remember seeing Cross Stitch Gallery. Like I could have, and I just don't remember it. They the all of these issues that they had listed here were sold out. You couldn't order those back issues. Um, so it looks like they'd had quite a few issues. So I don't know how long it had been around. And then they have this little contact section, which is kind of nice. For contacting the different people that provide the things that you want to get, like the cards for putting stuff in, the different stores and the different shows that you could go to for crafts. It says overseas, meaning places like in the U.S. for Kreinik. They had places in Germany, Ireland, I guess Karen Collection is here in the US. So for people in England, that's not something from there, I guess. Anyway, and then they would still give you an idea of what was coming in the next issue: a hothouse, an orangery. Um, on this one show I watched, they say it orangery, kind of fancy. And then this, I love this. This is a section advertising some books. Again, like this magazine is 13 years old. They could no longer be available or be in print or hard to find, but maybe you can still order them. You see that they had three different books on Hardanger, and then a bunch of floral or flower type designs, as well as some books on cards. These are all booklets by Mary Hickmott that she had done. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the magazine New Stitches by Mary Hickmott. If you come across it in a thrift store or a yard sale, um, or find it on eBay or somewhere, I think you should get it and take a look and try one of the projects. You can try one of the cross stitch projects. Like I said, she often has smaller projects. You wouldn't have to stitch all of the ships. You could stitch a bookmark with just a few of the ships that you wanted to put in. Um, but also maybe try one of the other kinds of needlework that they have, the needlepoint, the blackwork, and this is just in this issue. They have other kinds in all the different issues, so I love that. If you have any comments, go ahead and leave them below. I love reading what you have to say.